People really don't know what their expenses will be because they don't know how long that they're going to live.
Americans are worried they won't have enough saved for retirement now more than ever.
Retirement is going to cost, for many folks, over $1 million.
Is no sure thing in investing, but a lot of people think that annuities may come close to that.
It's going to more safe things that they know. If they know they're going to need that money to supplement their retirement, well, then you can't play that risk.
This is the Safe Money and Retirement Show with Jon Heischman Sr., founder and partner of Heischman Financial Services, serving the Columbus and surrounding areas. Jon specializes in educating pre-retirees and retirees about safe money strategies and ideas. Now, it's the Safe Money and Retirement Show. Here's Jon Heischman Sr.
Good morning, and thanks for joining me today for this week's edition of the Safe Money and Retirement Show. As always, I'm your host, Jon Heischman of Heischman Financial Services here in Reynoldsburg, Ohio. And I'm glad you took the time to be with me today. Hopefully, I can give you something to think about. We get so much information every day that is simply useless. It's things that just clutter our brains. Psychologists have been studying this for a long time. We now live in an era in which we're all trying to pack so many details about so many subjects, most of which are not and don't pertain to our lives, but they're being thrown at us anyways. We're humans, and our brains attempt to assimilate this information. That's one of the reasons people get so much wrong. All of us do. We have so many facts and figures and dates and times floating around in our heads that when we try to pull it out in a conversation, we just sometimes get it backwards. As a matter of fact, what I've done today is I'm concentrating on the question that I have had many times over the last several years. The most often asked question, and they're all good questions, is, will I have enough money in retirement? So let me get into that, but before I go any further, I want to let you know you can give me a call at your convenience, 888-426-0177. That's 888-426-0177. I'd be more than happy to run any numbers for you like I do for most of the people that call in. There's no charge, no obligation. I'd be happy to do it. Again, the number is 888-426-0177. Give me a call. Let's have a conversation. You know, my listeners tend to be very conscious of what it takes to make money, what it takes to save money, and the basic meaning of it. They've come to me for technical advice, general advice about different issues. And the first one, right off the bat, as I mentioned earlier, will I have enough money in retirement? Now, that's a question only you can actually answer. You know your budget, you know your debts, you know your lifestyle. All of that plays a big part of how much you need in retirement. For someone that has less than $250,000 saved for retirement, one person would look at that and say they'll never be able to retire, but they have retired and retired comfortably. Many people do on that amount of money and even less. Why? How? It's their lifestyle. They don't really spend a lot. They don't need to spend a lot. They've never spent a lot in the past. So, will I have enough money in retirement? Again, that's a great question. And when you're around 55, 50, and you're looking for that accumulation period when you're really going to start honing in on retirement. The key there is to take a look at what it takes to run your household. What does your lifestyle look like? What is it you would like in retirement? And put a dollar figure on that. Almost everything has a dollar figure. The size of your home, your car. Do you want an RV? I have a client that decided to sell his home and he bought a $350,000 RV. That's where they live, in the RV. They travel all over the United States and that is their lifestyle. They love it. They know what they want. For someone else, though, they could jump off a bridge before they even think about doing that. So everyone is different. Goals and objectives in retirement is different for everyone, and that's why we have to define it. When people talk about, do I have enough money for retirement, that's the time to take out that pen and paper and start listing, what do you want to do in retirement? Now we must put a dollar figure on that. Then figure out where that dollar is going to come from. Will it be a 401k, a pension, or both? A retirement plan of any kind, whether it's state or federal government, all of that is involved. Then we go to debts. Do you have a mortgage? Do you have debt for kids that you put through school and maybe even grandkids? Are you committed to expenses that nobody else knows about, but they're internal family expenses? And that's what I try to help people get perspective on. Then the next question is, when are you starting to get close to retirement, or are you in retirement? The question is, when should you start taking distributions from your retirement plan? Well, the rule of thumb is, quite frankly, the longer you wait, the better situation that you're going to be in. Most retirement plans are geared on age. So the older you are, the better the distribution and the safer it is, generally speaking. But for a lot of people, it's not practical. They need to take it right away. And if they do, then the options narrow pretty quickly. However, when the question is asked, when should you start? If they have options, it's always best to hold off as long as you can. Why? Those distributions from your retirement plan, they're going to be taxable. That's important because it could spill over into having a taxable impact on your Social Security benefits. And these are all things that we need to look at when designing your income plan. And I help people do just that. It's like a domino effect. Once you trip that wire, another wire gets wired, and all of a sudden, you're paying taxes on the distribution from your retirement. But you're also suddenly paying more taxes, and many times over, on your Social Security income. A lot of people are shocked when that happens. That's the tax implications when you start taking retirement income. It counts against your Social Security after a certain level. Very important thing to consider. Another important question. First of all, I'm not a CPA or a tax advisor, but I get this question quite often. How can I minimize my income taxes in retirement? Well, without going into tax advice, which I cannot, here's a rule of thumb. Try to wait as long as possible before you start to take distributions. It's going to minimize taxes, obviously, because without the income you don't have to take a hit in taxes on, it won't spill over into Social Security. So if you have the means to withhold the distribution of retirement income, do that. That would be true for Social Security as well, because Social Security is going to roll up at 8% a year if you leave it alone. Uncle Sam is giving you lots of leeway because you don't really have to take a required minimum distribution until age 73. Okay, for some, that's just an arbitrary number. They're going to take it long before then because they're actually going to retire, typically before that age. But again, back to the situation in which you are financially able, then hold off from taking retirement income streams. So, as you can see, there's a lot of strategy involved here when planning your retirement income. And even if you're retired, there is a possibility changes can be made in the interest of taxation. What money do you take immediately for income? What money do you delay to a later date in retirement in the interest of taxes? There's variables. You might be in a situation where all of your money is in qualified accounts. Another listener may have a combination of qualified retirement accounts and non-qualified money that can be used for income. Then we have to look at Social Security. When do you take Social Security? What effect is that going to have on your taxes from the money you're going to have to take in addition? That money, once again, may be all qualified or a combination of qualified and non-qualified. Again, there's an art to income planning. However, we have to look at all of the accounts, what their qualification is, and figure out a plan. That's what I do. That's what I enjoy doing, and I can help you do that. 888-426-0177. That number again is 888-426-0177. It's time to take a break, so please stay tuned. I'm going to continue on the same topic. I'll be right back.
Life expectancy is at all-time highs, so that means you've got a future to plan for at any age. If you have longevity in your family tree, then you need financial education from someone with the experience and knowledge to guide you into and through your retirement years. Jon Heischman and the folks at Heischman Financial Services are committed to helping you achieve your retirement goals with a low-key and trustworthy approach. Call Heischman Financial Services today to get started on your retirement future. Call 1-888-426-0177. That's 1-888-426-0177. Heischman Financial Services has your future in mind.
Welcome back to the Safe Money and Retirement Show with Jon Heischman. To contact Jon, the number to call is 1-888-426-0177. That's 1-888-426-0177. Once again, here's Jon Heischman.
This is Jon Heischman welcoming you to the second part of the Safe Money and Retirement Show this morning. I'm discussing questions I get often in reference to retirement planning. One of the big questions is, where should I take my retirement income from first? Most will have multiple accounts, and that is a great question, and it is so much a part of retirement planning. So should they take the qualified or non-qualified money first, which is delayed? What about Social Security? Where should they start? Well, that depends on a lot of factors. That's another paper or pencil kind of thing, you might say. So when I sit down with clients and work it all out to come up with a solution, if they take money from a non-qualified account at a certain point in retirement, depending on how large that has grown, the only part of that's going to be taxable is the gain or the profit, the interest you make on that money. Once you get into the principal, which was your starting point, that's going to be part of your cost basis, and it's going to be returned to you in the way of a tax-free source of income. That's important, and that plays a vital role in my clients' planning because they have, in this case that I'm referring to, significant amount of non-qualified money. What does non-qualified mean? Well, as mentioned, this is money that you have set aside in savings, or maybe you have inherited money that's already been taxed. It might be from the sale of a property. What it isn't is your IRA, 401k, 403b, or pension. All of the qualified plans that a client has are recognized by the IRS as pensions or retirement money. Non-qualified is different. It can grow the same way, but once you start taking it as a distribution in retirement, the only part that's taxable is the profit, whereas all qualified income is going to be taxable. And keep in mind, a lot has to do with the age that you retire. And in the interest of taxation during retirement, can you delay sources of income such as qualified money, or depending on tax bracket, should you take the qualified money first? And believe me, it's different for everyone. And that's why you have to look at your situation, individual situation of each client, their accounts, how much is qualified and how much money is non-qualified. All of these things are so important because I don't want these things to jump up later in retirement after the plan has started. Now, we can always alter the plan, but preferably getting it right the first time is usually going to be in your best interest. And of course, the other question I get a lot is, how can I maximize Social Security income? Well, now we're back on the same dilemma. Can you wait? Most people start Social Security the minute they turn age 62. That might be the ideal time. It may not. But you need to be advised. And most people aren't aware of options that they have that will allow them to delay Social Security income in order to receive more each month. Keep in mind, it grows 8% per year all the way up to age 70. So if that can be arranged, or even full retirement age, which could be 66 or 67, that could add up to a lot of extra money coming in from Social Security. I think health situation of each client is important to consider as well. Is there longevity potential or not? And taking income at age 62 may be the answer. But before you trigger income from Social Security at age 62, we need to look at the total picture. What other accounts are there? Are they qualified or non-qualified? When can income be generated from these other accounts, enabling you to delay Social Security? I personally enjoy doing Social Security planning, and I offer that to my listeners and referrals at a no cost, no obligation meeting. So if you're around that age bracket, whether you're still working or not, let's determine the right time for you to take Social Security. And it could be a situation where you're retired, age 63 or maybe age 64, and you haven't started your Social Security, but you're thinking of doing so, not quite sure if you should pull the trigger. Let me know. We can work together, look at some options, what's best for you in the interest of maximizing your retirement income. You can reach me at 888-426-0177. I'll give you that number again, 888-426-0177. Again, you may need to start at 62 or 63. Many need the income. They're in a situation where age 62, income from Social Security is going to be a lifesaver. But when the question comes in, how can I maximize Social Security income? There's two ways to do it. Obviously, as I discussed, one is to leave it alone, let it grow. The other is to continue to work, because as you're working, that income continues to count towards Social Security and accumulating and growing your Social Security benefit. I have met with people that make so little 35 years ago or 30 years ago. I mean, it was just not working. They didn't make that much. But the last 5, 6, or even 8 years, they have been making a lot more because of a new job, a big rate increase, new position. So they're replacing all those bad income years and sliding into retirement in the next couple of years, and Social Security is mounting and growing. So the two ways of maximizing Social Security would be try to hold off taking it as long as possible. Every year you wait, it goes up 8%. The other is to work if you can. That in itself not only will be growing 8%, but you'll be contributing more, which is going to increase that Social Security as well. One other thing that needs to be taken into consideration, and you might say another question, is how does my employment income in retirement impact my Social Security benefits? Well, depending on how much you're making, it's going to have a big impact. It could have as much as 85% of your Social Security benefits that's going to be taxed. So again, it depends on how much you're making, but will, in fact, have a tax ramification on the income. We take a close look at all of the situations in order to come up with a solution for what's in your best interest. Social Security is difficult, it's complicated enough, but it doesn't have to be if you're working with a planner that knows Social Security options and can help plan that for your future. I've studied Social Security planning over the years, received several designations related to Social Security advisory. So I welcome the opportunity to help you, whether your current advisor does that type of planning or not. There's no obligation to you, and it's my way of helping you as a radio listener. I've come to the end of the Safe Money and Retirement Show this morning, and there is so much more to discuss, but unfortunately time doesn't allow it. So I want you to call me. We can further our discussions on what you're concerned about. I'm here to help. That number again is 888-426-0177, 888-426-0177. Thanks for joining me, and be sure to tune in next week. I'll have some more information for you that hopefully will help you plan your retirement.
The Safe Money and Retirement Show with Jon Heischman Sr. To get in touch with Jon, call 1-888-426-0177. That's 1-888-426-0177. For more information about Heischman Financial Services, visit their website, HeischmanFS.com. That's HeischmanFS.com. Join us again next time for the Safe Money and Retirement Show with Jon Heischman Sr.